Rainbow Dash?
Fluttershy flew over to her friend who was sitting on the cloud edge of the flight school.
Aren't we going to have a training session soon? We haven't had one in a long time now.
Rainbow Dash, who had been lying with her hooves crossed and head resting on her legs, lifted her head up and turned to look at Fluttershy. Rainbow had a dull, bored look on her face before looking back out from the edge of the cloud, looking out into the blue sky and green land far beneath the clouds.
What's the point? You've pretty much reached how good you're gonna get.
But the sessions helped me so much back during our first flight camp together, and they've been helping me keep up with my grades since we've been in school. I don't know how well I'd fare without them.
Well, if they're that important, why don't you just do them by yourself? You don't need me to help you practice. You can do it by yourself.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. I just thought we could do them together.
Fluttershy tried to hide her face behind her mane.
Fluttershy, what would you do if I wasn't around?
Huh? What would I do?
Yeah, what would you do?
Rainbow Dash stood up, looking out into the sky.
Say I was just gone tomorrow, and you never saw me again. What would you do?
I've never thought about it.
Fluttershy wasn't sure what to say.
I just figured you'd always be here.
Well, I can't be here forever, Fluttershy.
Rainbow stomped a hoof on the cloud.
You're gonna have to grow up and take care of yourself one day. I can't hold your hoof forever. You're older than me, for Celestia's sake.
I'm sorry, Rainbow.
Fluttershy felt herself curling up into a ball, not wanting to anger the person closest to her anymore, just wanting all this anger to stop.
And stop apologizing!
Rainbow turned around and walked up to Fluttershy. Fluttershy squeaked as she felt herself curl up tighter as Rainbow's angry face met hers.
You apologize for every insignificant thing. If you really are sorry about what you're doing, stop using your words and do something about it.
Fluttershy was shaking on the cloud, unable to speak. Tears burned at the edges of her eyes as her dearest friend yelled at her.
Ugh!
Rainbow turned her head away from Fluttershy, walking back to the edge of the cloud.
Fluttershy, I can't take it anymore.
Her voice was full of frustration. Her wings wiggled as if in anticipation.
I want to fly, and not just based on the rules and regulations they set up for us. I don't want to be graded by letters or peers who think they're better than me when they're not. Can they fly faster than me? No. Can they maneuver me? No. Can they do a sonic rainbow? Of course not.
Rainbow stomped a hoof repeatedly against the ground. She glared at the sky, almost panting from the anger she felt at being held back. It was silent for a few moments. Fluttershy couldn't get up or bring herself to say anything. She just shook, curled up where she was. She didn't want Rainbow to be angry anymore. She didn't like it when she was angry. Rainbow let out a sigh as she turned her head to look at her quivering friend.
Fluttershy, I'm getting out of here.
What?
I can't stand being here anymore. I'm too restricted, too confined, too belittled. So I'm leaving this school. I'm dropping out, and I don't care what happens because of it. I'm too good for this school. Maybe I'll go find a weather job in town or something. But I'll be free to do whatever I want. Sleep, fly, do amazing stunts, and one day when I can prove my stuff to everyone, I'll join the Wonderbolts.
A fierce fire burned in her eyes.
But...
See you, Fluttershy. I don't know where I'll end up, but I hope we meet again someday.
Rainbow Dash spread her wings and flew off in a burst of speed.
Rainbow Dash!
Fluttershy bolted up from her curled position and ran to the edge of the cloud. She stopped as she stared out into the distance, unable to see even a hint of where she'd flown off to.
Rainbow Dash.
Fluttershy fell to her knees, unable to believe her eyes. Rainbow Dash had really run off, not telling her anything of where she was going, leaving her there all by herself. Her tears began to soak the cloud she sat on.
Oh, this bath is simply divine.
Rarity sat back, relaxing in the spa's giant tub.
It feels so good to relax after a day of partying.
Her hair was wrapped up in a pink towel as she let the warm water soothe her entire being. Fluttershy let out a soft sigh as she tried to relax on the other side of the bath. Her mind was still racing about Rainbow Dash. Dash had spent the rest of the party hanging out with Pinkie. She hadn't had much opportunity to hang out with her. She played a few games, had some sweets, but she had felt lonely at the party despite being surrounded by her friends.
Fluttershy, darling, what's the matter? You haven't been able to relax this whole trip.
It's nothing, Rarity. Don't worry about it.
Fluttershy forced a smile on her face, trying not to show her insecurities to her friend.
Now come, dear. I've known you long enough to know when there's something troubling you. What's on your mind?
Fluttershy turned her head, not sure how to say this or how much she wanted to tell Rarity. She had no idea how she would react if she told her she had a romantic interest in Rainbow Dash, so what would be the best action to take here?
I'm not really sure how to say what's bothering me.
Well, put it in as few words as you can. Simplicity is best in these situations.
Rarity waved her hoof gently, making the water swirl a little in front of her.
I guess I can say something like that then.
Fluttershy browsed her mind for the proper words without giving away too much.
Do you promise you won't tell anyone what I'm about to tell you?
Oh, of course, Fluttershy. I only want to help out my dearest friend. Sadness does not suit you well, dear.
All right. I have feelings for some pony. Keep it ambiguous. Don't let her know it's Rainbow Dash.
Oh, Fluttershy! How romantic! You simply must tell me who it is. Who is this debonair pony that has caught your heart?
Rarity leaned in to get a good listen. Rarity certainly was always abuzz for gossip like this.
Oh, no. I couldn't say.
Fluttershy tried to hide behind her hair.
Besides, I'm pretty sure they don't even notice me. Not that I'm noticeable. I'm certain no pony could really have feelings for me back.
Oh, Fluttershy, of course you're noticeable, darling.
Rarity quickly moved closer to her friend, lifting her up out of the water.
All you need is some advice on how to attract this glorious stallion of your dreams.
Maybe.
Fluttershy blushed a little, looking away from her friend.
But it's not a stallion.
Come now, Fluttershy. No need to be shy. I, Rarity, shall give you all the advice you'll ever need for attracting the eye of that special someone.
I hope this ends well.
Welcome to Rarity's Attracting a Debonair Gentlecoat 101.
A floating piece of chalk wrote the words in big cursive letters on a chalkboard behind Rarity. They had returned to the Carousel Boutique for her lesson. She had adorned herself in a rather well-designed business suit, striped with white and a slightly frilled skirt that hung over her flank. Her hair was tied up in a bun, matched by a pair of black glasses that adorned her face.
Oh my.
Fluttershy sat at a desk that had been set up for her. This was all very elaborate on Rarity's part.
Now, in today's class, we shall be talking about proper gentlecoat courting etiquette. Now, can anyone tell me what is the first thing you do when you see a proper gentlecoat?
She turned and looked at Fluttershy.
Oh, wait for them to notice you?
Wrong!
A loud smack rose from her desk as a ruler was smacked down hard on it. Fluttershy let out a yelp as she jumped in her seat.
While it is true that a proper gentlecoat should always make the first move. They cannot make a move on that which they cannot see. The approach is the first step in proper courtship. You must present yourself elegantly before the eyes of the one you wish to attract. He must know your presence has been made, and then he will approach. A proper gentlecolt will always raise his hoof to you first.
Rarity mimed her words, turning her head as she lifted her hoof up, blinking her eyes flirtatiously at the air.
But what if he doesn't?
Well, honestly, I would never wish to attract such a stallion that was not a gentlecolt. But I suppose if you did not see such an opportunity before him, that you could initiate the conversation yourself.
Rarity spoke while gently tapping her mane.
Never show yourself to be too eager. You want your gentlecolt to always think he has to earn your heart. Never just give it away.
Rarity smiled as she wrote a few more notes on the chalkboard.
Now, let's talk about the actual act of gaining your gentlecolt's attention.
Rarity gave her hair a good flip to show off her features while fluttering her eyes some more.
Presenting yourself so that he can approach you is all about form, physique, and attitude. You must present yourself at your most magnifique. Dress up in proper style, give your hair a wondrous makeover, and make yourself look as beautiful as possible. You simply must make yourself stand out.
Looking beautiful? Would Rainbow Dash really care about how I looked?
Fluttershy's attention was grabbed once more by the smack of the ruler on her desk.
Pay attention, dear. Now tell me, dear, what should be done about the actual time spent together with your affection?
Do something you both enjoy?
Yes and no, dear. Good try, though. Doing something you both enjoy will certainly be something to come later. However, you must first get to know your gentlecolt. Make sure he shows you his true colors. You must make sure that he is truly the gentlecolt you desire.
Rarity adjusted her glasses as if remembering a previous date that she would wish to forget.
Well, what do you suggest then?
Fluttershy asked after a moment of seeing Rarity lost in thought.
Oh, of course. Excuse me.
Rarity cleared her throat. Her chalk floated up and wrote more notes.
For a first date, you should simply get to know each other. Do so through conversation. Perhaps go to a delightfully elegant soiree. Getting in some close and romantic dancing always helps with this. A romantic dinner is also a wonderful idea. Perhaps over some candlelight at a 5-star restaurant. Though on a budget, I suppose a 4-star could work as well.
She didn't react too much to the dinner I made her myself, besides liking the food.
You can also set up a wonderful night for stargazing, or wandering a beautiful garden of flowers. Set up a night that's about the two of you, and let the magic spark.
Rarity chuckled to herself as she thought about such a wonderful night.
All of this really works?
Fluttershy was a little confused on all the small details.
Oh, but of course, dear. I've had several gentlecolts ask me out to several wonderful nights. But of course I was mostly practicing with them. I am still waiting for a true, proper prince that will sweep me off my hooves. Being married into royalty is truly my lifelong dream.
Oh, I see.
Fluttershy thought about this advice.
And of course, this is all an introductory course. I have lots more advice, but it all gets much more advanced from here. I wouldn't want to overwhelm you with too much before you've had a chance to let it sink in.
I see. Thank you, Rarity. I've never really had dating advice before. Well, and I've never really been on a date before either.
Exactly. Now, we simply must make you a brilliant outfit to attract your affection's attention.
Rarity pushed her chalkboard aside and walked over to her work desk, pulling out paper and markers and beginning to sketch away.
Are you making me a new dress?
Oh, but of course! We can't use any pre-made dresses for this. This is a special occasion, Fluttershy. We shall make your affection say, "Wow, what a beautiful mare! I simply must know you better."
She happily sketched away as she amused herself.
Are you sure something like my gala dress won't work?
Fluttershy admitted to having become partial to the dress, even though at first she hadn't liked it. It was still the dress that had helped her enjoy a bad night with all of her friends.
Absolutely, dear. I will make you look more magnificent than you have before. Not an easy task. All of my previous outfits made you look simply amazing, and I'm planning to outdo myself once more.
Rarity had a big smile on her face as she worked.
Oh, I hope Rainbow Dash will notice all this.
Fluttershy worried as Rarity began to work on stitching cloth together. She rubbed her hoof over her leg.
I'm going to have to ask her out, though. Rainbow would never come to me and ask.
She felt frustrated at the thought, but she could handle it. Fluttershy began to trot back and forth in the shop in contemplation as she heard the sound of the sewing machine hum.
But what kind of a date should I take her on? Should I let her know it's a date? No, if I let her know, she probably won't want to go out on it. So what should I do?
Fluttershy walked over to the window of Rarity's bedroom and looked out of it.
Perhaps a night stargazing? Would Rainbow find that boring? There's no star showers planned, so she might get bored. If she gets bored, she won't want to be on the date anymore.
Fluttershy sat down as her mind began to whirl a mile a minute.
I should do something special. But what can I do that's special? I already know the kind of things Rainbow Dash likes, but I'm no good at all those things. Can I get her to like me? Should I even be trying? Would she hate me for what I'm doing? Is trying to understand my feelings really worth the possibility of ruining our friendship?
Fluttershy closed her eyes as she lowered her head for a moment. She desperately wanted this to work, but she had a bad feeling in her gut.
Now, Fluttershy, don't look so down. Everything shall be all right.
Rarity walked over and patted her on the back.
Everything will work out just wonderfully. I know they will.
Thank you, Rarity.
Now come. I need to re-get your measurements. I can't seem to find where I kept them from last time.
Rarity said, walking over to her desk and pulling out her measuring tape.
I hope she's right. I hope everything will work out.
In Too Shy for a Rainbow, Chapter 3, Rainbow Dash was played by Jay. Fluttershy was played by Mewsel. Rarity was played by Christine, and narration was given by Trevor Gonzalez. It was directed and edited by Lightning.